Hi, welcome to Rock the System. I'm Nick, and today we're going to talk about communication. So, after you've defined your strategy and you've recruited people to work the tactics to achieve your strategic aim, we're going to need to think about communication. Now, think back to World War II, aircraft were flying, communication was developed quite well, especially radio communication, and a simple model was developed at that point. And that was something along the lines of a person needed to send a message. That message was encoded. It was then sent through some sort of transmission medium. That transmission medium was subject to noise. Whatever signal was left was decoded and then interpreted by the person on the other end. And then they acted on it. But before they did that, they had to feed back to the originator that the full message was understood. Now, that is a very, very simple model that's worth bearing in mind. Now, think in today's business terms, what would noise be? Because in radio terms, noise is any signal that you do not want. Now, for us in the modern day, noise could be something to do with the way we communicate. Do we have an overly complex system? As most of us are in a fairly multicultural society, we've got to think about the literacy and numeracy of the people that we're trying to communicate with. Now, going back to keeping it simple, we also have to understand that human beings themselves are not simple, they are complex. Something that can impinge upon their understanding or active involvement in communication could be, are they feeling well? What's the weather like? Are they having problems at home? Are their kids struggling at school? Are they worried about some sort of pandemic? There are lots of things that can lead to that. So again, it reinforces the fact we want to keep things very simple. Now, as human beings, we are instinctively able to understand visual communication so much better than any other form. So to do that, we think, can we use visual communication as a way forward? Now, I've seen lots in maintenance and manufacturing. We do have visual communication. So we need to think about that and define those such that they're very simple. Often when we're communicating, people need to know what they've got to do, how they're going to do it, and when they've got to do it by. Yeah. If you're in a relationship or service-based industry, we've got to think about how we're going to communicate in a relationship-based manner. You may think in terms of having one-on-one or one-to-few conversations with people. We should still concentrate on the whole communication thing, on how are the tactics achieving our strategic aim in those conversations that you're having. Now, if we go back to the visual systems we have, we need to be able to see that, is the particular system we're looking at performing? Is it achieving the strategic aim through the rolling out of the tactics? And if it isn't, very quickly we should be able to see that there is something that can be improved, and then that's what we need to change. Now, when I mention about visual communication, lots of people think about some sort of notice board. And it's worthwhile thinking, if you're going to put a poster that you've made or anything you might want to buy and put into place, studies show that after about 2 weeks, that poster then becomes invisible. So we need to have something that's refreshed. And that means our visual system needs to be updated very frequently. Right then, so if we've got an awesome visual system that shows everybody just how a particular system is operating, and is it operating within the correct parameters to achieve our aims, we need to make sure that the visual systems are backed up with physical meetings. Now, from maintenance and manufacturing places, it's always good that the team that are going to do the work, they have what we call a toolbox meeting. And that's so they know at the start of the day what the day's objectives are. And at the end of the day, they can say, what the objectives have been met, and what concerns have arisen in that time. Supervisors can have a quick daily meeting at the start and at the end of the day, again, to state the objectives, any issues arising for that day that we think is there, and at the end of the day, what objectives were met, what concerns were there that stopped us. Management need to have daily meetings as well, so we've got daily management as well, and they should be done in a room with the relevant information on the wall, no chairs, no tables, and everyone stood up, and they should take no longer than 20 minutes. Now, I was told by a consultant in my early days of lean deployment, anything that takes longer than 20 minutes is boring. In no uncertain terms, I was told that. Over time, I've found if meetings tend to go on longer than that, one is there's no agenda, so sidetracking happens a lot, which leads to wasted time, which is frustrating for lots of people who are already busy. And the other is that there are problems and everyone's trying to fix them in that meeting. Now, the meeting isn't there to fix problems. If there are problems that can get fixed inside that 20-minute window, fine. If not, they need to be taken outside that meeting and put into an improvement plan, prioritized and acted upon accordingly. And then what we can think of is if we're going to have regular meetings for management, maybe the different functions such as marketing and finance, they can have their own short, snappy meetings too. That'd be a good thing because, again, we're not wasting time. They can do all theirs in 20 minutes as well. Same principle. So if we've got a good, simple communication system that shows clear performance and it's backed up with short, punchy meetings, and we know who is supposed to be doing what you're going to have is a business that's on the true path to success. Now, feel free to comment below if you think I've missed anything, or if you think I've missed the mark totally, or indeed anything else you'd like me to say. Thanks for watching.